I have the absolute pleasure of introducing this panel. So we're going to be discussing the emotion economy of social media. So Nicholas, Jason, Meredith, and Crystal will be discussing how stories...
Let's go.
hey, discussing how stories travel through identity, fandom, and culture, shaping what people feel, share, and protect online. This will be a candid discussion on how brands, agencies, and everything in between can earn trust, relevance, and impact inside culture instead of chasing attention. So light work, isn't it? Because it's super easy. Not. Over to you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? Give a little noise here.
Let's
Come
go.
on.
Beautiful.
So I'm going to pass to the panelists. We're going to introduce them, but I have one ask. I want when I introduce them, you act like it is Adele I'm introducing. You are at a concert. I need you to get that loud. Okay? So we're going to start with Crystal. Woo! Why don't you introduce yourself?
Oh my gosh. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming on other this day at Cannes. I'm Crystal Hauserman, Chief Marketing Officer. I've worked in media, entertainment, sports, from Warner Brothers to early creating economy at Full Screen, OG, where my OGs MCNs at, before creators were a thing. I worked at Paris Hilton's 1111 Media. I was at an indie startup, beauty brands, and we're here to talk all things social first, modern brand building, going viral, doing awesome shit.
All right. So next, introducing Meredith.
Hi, everybody. Woo! Meredith Herman. I'm with Kenvue. We make brands like Tylenol, Aveeno, Neutrogena. And I'm head of marketing acceleration there. And super excited to be here.
All right. Thank you. And last up, Jason.
Woo!
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Not quite Adele, but I'll take it. This is great because I get to sit on a panel with Meredith. I got to sit on a panel earlier with Joy, who's also at Kenvue. So this is fantastic. Just a little shout out.
We love Joy.
Joy's great. Jason Harvey, I head up streaming for BET. It's a streaming service called BET Plus. We've been around for about 6 years. And before that, I did a bunch of ad tech. I've been marketing with Google and Microsoft and AT&T and eBay, so all the things. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the invite. All right, I see you, my guy.
Ah. All right. So the topic we're here to discuss, everyone, is the emotion economy of social media. So you've all by now heard the attention economy. We think in today's age of AI, actually emotion is having an important role, and these brand leaders can break it down why and how. Culture rarely moves just because something is popular. It moves when emotion spreads through people and communities they show up in. So we're going to explore stories from each brand, and we may get into heated rivalry. Any fans out there? Little bit, coming up. All right, icebreaker. What is a community you belong to that most people in the room might not guess?
Nicholas, we bonded over this when we first met. Burning Man. I'm a 14-year Burning Man veteran.
Burners?
And I say for someone who leads brands, it's the greatest community experience of 80,000 people coming to the middle of the desert to bring art for no other commercial purpose or endeavor other than to build awesome shit. And I get very inspired every year by going.
All right. Next up, either of you. It doesn't have to be in order.
I'm a field hockey person, ex-field hockey player, so I'm still in that community. I follow everything online. I'm obsessed that recruiting is going on right now for college recruits. And yeah, I geek out on that.
Okay. Harv?
Where did you grow up, by the way, Meredith?
I grew up in Pennsylvania. I went to a high school called Emmaus. It's outside of Allentown. It's a hotbed for field hockey. So
Hotbed for
anybody who
field
knows field hockey,
Obviously.
knows
It's her
what's
destiny.
up. Knows what's up.
I'm just going to say I'm from LA, born and raised, and West Side. Anybody out here from the West Side? Okay. And never heard of field hockey until I went to, I'm serious, I never heard of field hockey until I went to Argentina and lived in Argentina for 2 years, and there was a bunch of people playing
Global
it.
sport.
Pretty cool.
We're all learning new things up here.
I know. I guess my community, for those that don't know, I'm a diehard sci-fi nerd. So
Same.
really love sci-fi. The Expanse, if you haven't seen it, it's one of the best shows on the planet. You must go see it. I wish The Expanse. It's on Amazon. So shout out to anybody Amazon folks. We don't have a lot of sci-fi on BT Plus, and it pains me that we don't. But, hopefully with Paramount Plus footing some bills, that might happen soon.
All right. Follow up for each of the panelists. What do you think your community has taught you about brand building and your work? Any order you can think about.
Never give up. Don't stop. So The Expanse is a great example of that.
Yeah.
The Expanse had, I think, 3 or 4 seasons on Sci-Fi, the network. You guys probably don't know what the Sci-Fi network is. Very cool network if you love sci-fi. It was dead in the water, but they kept pushing. Bezos apparently was a fan. They did a bunch of like grassroots marketing with a bunch of fans that ultimately got Bezos to pick it up for another 2 seasons. And that's the power of community. So never give up. Don't stop.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay.
I think that's the authenticity of it. You can make real connections. People really support each other. You can keep up with the latest things, like the rules, things that change. I'll keep going with my field hockey analogy. But yeah, I think it's authentic support.
Great. Helpful. Crystal?
I judge community by what happens in times of disaster. Or shit doesn't go the way it's supposed to. A flood comes in, wind burns some stuff down. Everybody kind of comes together to rebuild, put things back together, and that to me that's real people getting together who actually care and have developed relationships to repair, rebuild, and in the ebbs and flows of life, right?
Yep.
That to me is like a true barometer of a real community.
100%. Have any of you worked on a campaign where they invest in the community as part of their brand message? Like you see brands reaching out after disaster, I mean.
After disaster, absolutely. I mean, COVID, I think so many brands made the Purell type hand sanitation. So many brands came to the rescue. I felt like it was so warming to see people rally around community at those times. New York City was such a scary place, and so many people, especially in the healthcare industry. I think if you remember, we all posted the picture of home on our Facebook pages, right? Because we were supposed to stay home, but it was this rallying around doing the right thing. Had such an impact on people.
Nice. Right. All right, so that's a little bit about the communities. We're going to turn towards emotion. So I'm at Viral Nation. We work in social media all the time. We do think emotion's one of the best ways to lock in a brand message for the long term, to connect with hearts and minds. In each of your marketing, tell me about an emotion you've sought to provoke.
Belonging.
Oh.
We are the most connected human beings to ever, and our kids, and even if you don't have kids, young people around you, us, ourselves, older, our parents. We are the most connected humans to ever walk this planet, yet we're in a loneliness, disconnection, and isolation epidemic. And I think is a responsibility of brands. I'm not at a nonprofit, right? But it is, to me, an unlock to create spaces, moments of humanity, and come together connection. I'll give you an example because I like not speaking in platitudes, but like, what do you actually do? So I work at an indie fragrance brand called Noise, little bitty brand. We're now one of the highest accelerating brands at Ulta Beauty, in less than 2 years, because we have approached our marketing different. I care little about the traditional marketing playbook in beauty. I don't care. So we had our big tentpole launch of last year in September. We said, where can we go to do something different? We picked New York Fashion Week to launch our campaign. The fragrance was called Only Human. And it was about humanity, bringing people together. And we put a call to our community, said we're going to be at Chelsea tomorrow morning. You're going to be the face of the campaign. We flipped the beauty paradigm on its head. We're like, you're the community, you're the stars. We're going to photograph you. We're going to put you on out of home, both physical and digital. We're going to blow you up everywhere. You can be anyone, everyone. Come line up. We got there at 6 a.m. We had over 1,500 people in line who stayed for 10 hours for a little indie beauty brand. This is not Nike. Shout out to my Nike.
Shout out
props
to Nike.
here.
Shout out to Nike.
This is people who waited. We had music going. It was a dance party. It was everybody was welcomed. And at the end of the day, the production team was like, why are they waiting? They're here for 9 hours to be this thing. And I said, because we're willing to say you're important. You're going to be a face of this campaign. We're going to print you in real time on giant format printers. I got messengers that are going to run down to Soho and paste you up on the side of the wall. Then you're going to go find yourself. Then you're going to go share it to the world. And it doesn't matter who you are. And everybody looked amazing, age, background, totally agnostic. And that to me is a brand, and leasing the reins a little bit to say, community, you come in. You're a co-creator in this moment. Come be part of it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
So when we work across, a portfolio of brands, we want to make sure they each have a distinct role in culture. So we build this up from the product truth, right, up to the consumer insight into their role within culture. And when we were looking at our brand Motrin, so it's the orange pack. Many of you maybe give it to their children. And then you stop using us after 11 because you look at the side of the label and you say, my child's 12 and this is no longer right for them. And we're actually come back in role like for menopause and women later. But we were missing this role in this teen years. And some of the insights we had were around teens wanting they don't really think about pain seriously, quite honestly, unless it really stops them. So their idea of pain is like a kinky neck because they slept in an Airbnb bed or something. They just want to keep their momentum. So the emotion we want to create, like for all our brands, is this empowered relief, but we kind of spike on, like for a Motrin, like momentum and really like keeping their flow, as the teens would say.
Keep vibing, right? Keep vibing.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. And so at Coachella, the brand created a whole relaxation area. They had those blow-up legs. Do you ever see those things? You put your leg, and yes, it feels like unbelievable. We could all use some of that right now. But it was this relaxation, and we had influencers talking and hyping. And hopefully you never really thought about Motrin all that often, but when we surprise you physically in addition to digitally, hopefully we're adding some value and then carrying that emotion forward.
Great. Beautiful. Okay, so we got belonging. We got momentum.
Those are great. I don't know what to say. That was fantastic. Motrin, I got 4 kids. I go through
your
Motrin
friend.
like it's nobody's business. I'm getting long in an age, and so I'm starting to use some Motrin because, just walking here from the Martinez, got my legs all jacked up. So I definitely get it. I'm trying to get
Farrah
that
Body
momentum.
sponsorship coming in
know,
right
right?
We got a
now.
partnership.
Boom, let's go. I need that momentum. We're constantly trying to evoke emotion because we're in entertainment. So we have shows that are comedies, and we have stand-up, and we have, dramas. I wish we had sci-fi, but we don't. But everything we do, we're trying. Exactly, it's coming. We try to evoke emotion, and it's really important that we align ourselves with our partners, whether they're social media partners or agency partners, with what we're trying to convey. So we bring them in, we show them the show, we let them know. Obviously, they better watch it, right? If they're going to watch the show and trying to evoke some emotion, and then we build off of that, right? I think it's really important. If you don't touch somebody like specifically, they don't care. Right? They see thousands and thousands and thousands of images every minute, right? Yeah.
I want to build off what you're talking about, right? And I think it's a shout out to my folks from entertainment. I think there's so much for consumer brands, CPG, to really learn from the world of entertainment. I started my career in media and entertainment. And I think the approach of what you're talking about is never be boring.
That's right.
When we're sitting
Very
and thinking
expensive
about,
to be boring.
exactly. It's my favorite Greg Hahn quote. You don't have the budget to be boring. But the point is, it's your competitors now in social first brands and modern brand building as a consumer product, right? It's not just my other fragrance brands on the shelf. It is every other thing that's coming through the feed and bombarding people at every direction. And I think that mantra of to be in a sea of sameness is really like the death knell to kind of come to the mean in the middle. And it's to never lose a moment, to be entertaining, engaging, and really thinking like, I love it's the Liquid Death guys that said we hire like an SNL writer's room, right? It's to really, not every company can do that, but I think it's a great learning pillar, right?
Yeah.
Because most advertising has the product specs, most advertising has a target brief, but not all of them make you feel something.
Correct.
Or make you walk away and remember on a deeper level.
But it's interesting, just to,
Please.
yes, thank you for never be boring. It's just like, put it all succinctly. That's what I was trying to say. But it's interesting that you guys both mentioned like experiential things, right? Because to your point about we're always trying to be connected. We want to be connected. This is a social thing. That's why we're all here. Cannes isn't about buying a product. It's about these experiences. So going to Coachella, very important to drive emotion because you're there and you're with people. Having an experiential, event like you had.
Burning Man.
well, Burning Man, that's a whole nother, that's too much dust in Burning Man for me. Otherwise, I'd be down. But yeah, the event that you mentioned also, it's very visceral. It's like you're connecting with people. And so I think that drives an even stronger emotion than some of our entertainment.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad, Harv and Crystal, you both mentioned entertainment, because I think entertainment really is, especially at a place like Cannes, where brand builders can go to learn about storytelling. I mean, it's much more intentional. They're trying to make you feel something. You have a comedy, you have a drama. Talk to me about any lessons you've had from entertainment, heated rivalry or otherwise, that you think you could bring to your brand building. And it doesn't have to go in order. You can fit.
I mean, I would go back to the original point of authenticity, because you can tell the deep fakes, really. All right. And on Heated Rivalry, I did watch all the seasons.
Yes, you did.
And, you know, it's a love story. And it really, the story around the ice hockey, not field hockey, ice hockey. But, you know, you could feel the truth in the moments and pain points within them. And I think in order to engage into a community, one, you can't just dip in and out. You really have to be part of that community. And two, you have to show up with authenticity. So for me, that show really, they built the story. And I'm sure, I don't know the director, but, you know, certainly LGBTQ community respect for that.
Respect. Beautiful.
My favorite measure of whether you're truly part of a community or just extracting. If you disappear tomorrow, would they care? And if they wouldn't miss you, then you haven't earned your place there yet, right? And it's not one of those things where you can just inject it. Heated Rivalry takes off. Not every brand should be jumping in the conversation on Heated Rivalry. Do your values align? Do you have a reason to be there? Do you have a reason to be part of the conversation? You know, that sort of thing. And we may love it. We may be fans and all those sorts of things, but your brand doesn't necessarily need to jump into it, right? And it's figuring out, you know, those places and spaces where you can go.
Could we get like a Lord of the Rings over there, or what's going on in sci-fi land?
No, but Heated Rivalry is just an example of when you have a really good story, it works. It doesn't matter who's in the story. Like, so we create a lot of content. We're not creating content for, I mean, it's black led, but it's not like, hey, this is only for black people. This audience, and what's crazy is if I told you that 40% of the subscribers of BT Plus are non-black, I mean, that's phenomenal. Why? Because they're really great stories. They're really good stories, so you want to watch that, right?
Amazing. All right, let's turn to social media. Each of you obviously have managed social media presences. How beyond getting reach, engagement, et cetera, how do you think about emotion in the way that your brands interact on social media with your audiences?
I mean, I'll jump in because
go.
I've always thought that the social media sentiment thing is bullshit. Like, we always get those. I mean, you guys probably get them as well.
Preach, right?
They're like, oh, you're net neutral or net positive or net negative. I don't know what that tells you. It told me nothing. I think what does tell you, obviously, a lot of folks are working in first-party data now. That's great. It's behavioral. It tells you the what, but it doesn't tell you the why. And so we go out and do customer surveys every month, and we ask questions about our product, and we ask questions about the content, and we ask questions about the experience, and we do an NPS score, which, you know, some people will say that's bullshit too, but we do it because we want information. We also want to understand the why. We go out and do qualitative research, and we say, why did you like this TV show? Why did you like this movie? Why did you bounce on the third episode? All of that to drive even more understanding of the culture. What we built is this thing called Cultural OS, we like to call it, where it's this operating system built around culture, where it takes data, but it also takes qualitative research, and it brings in social media, not just the sentiment, but engagement, what hits, what doesn't hit, and what bubbles up. And we bring that out all in to get a better understanding of our audience so that we can greenlight better content and so that we can talk to them in a very specific way across marketing channels.
That's
And
great.
that seems to be working.
I love that. Culture OS. Culture OS.
I think we think of the social community and monitoring and social activation just part of an ecosystem of work that we try and string together strategically. Look, we're obviously trying to drive more people, welcoming them into our brands. So no secret there, but we are trying to make sure that we're doing as much listening as we are talking.
Oh, I love that. Not a lot of brands go there. Did you have something to add, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's similar, right? We're in beauty, and I think one of the things in the beauty game, if you're there, it's the challenge of always chasing what's new and next and being innovative. And so really we engage with our community, and we were talking about this before the panel. I'm looking at my Viral Nation new bestie over there, of really doing that deep listening, to Meredith's point, of what do they want to see from us next, right? What are the scents they're talking about? What are the different formats? They want travel sizes. They want these sorts of things. And not only do we stop at listening, then we bring them in to start trialing, testing things we're looking about. We flip the traditional beauty model on its head, where you send a bunch of PR boxes to influencers and are waiting for the EMV to roll in, and where's all my content? We go to community first. We bring them in to do early lab sample testing, to give us their feedback. Our early reviews come all from community people. Of course, we always work with creators and talent. I'm a creator purist. They're amazing advocates for the brands, but I think really treating social, I love what the word ecosystem, it's all part of the brand fandom, and we always really endeavor to, what value are we giving and bringing them in? Are they driving the way the company's going? Are they driving the new products they'll see in market? Are we inviting them to experiences and opportunity? We did 75 experiential events in 18 months.
Wow.
We are showing up all the time. That's little coffee chats if we're in a city and we pull people together to sit with our CEO, to big things at Stagecoach and Coachella that are at a bigger scale. But we're always meeting, talking. It's a two-way dialogue, and not us just, bullhorning outward.
Oh, I love that. Okay, I want to double click on what Meredith said and Crystal highlighted, but at Viral Nation, I definitely see, and I've kind of heard this already as a 2026 Cannes trend, is social media is not only an amplifier. It's not just blasting things out, getting your message out, but it's the listening. It's what can you hear, maybe what emotion do you discern. We did a campaign with e.l.f. where we noticed the request for Michaela's lip kit, marriage material lip kit that she wore on her wedding day. So we partnered with them to actually make it. It was kind of a beautiful story. Any products or ideas that you've had specifically from what you've heard on social media, or how something you did connected with your consumer?
So I don't know about you guys. I have blisters from running up and down this beach. And so our Band-Aid brand, you've probably seen some of the kids' versions, right? So, we've got Harry Potter and all the kind of fun stuff for your kids that makes the mom stop. But really, we weren't really talking to moms. And we did a partnership, with Target, to bring moms Band-Aids that were art-inspired. And so it gave Target an opportunity to feature our Band-Aids. And we partnered with the Met. And it also brought the Met experience out to Target. So that three-way partnership really allowed, and many of us are not just fashionistas, but we also are interior design, and putting that beautiful kit that we made. So the Band-Aid first aid kit is normally hidden inside, but this one people love to display.
It's probably very easy for a Band-Aid to be a race to zero and competing
right.
on cost and hard to differentiate. So I love that you had the art
inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
very inspiring.
that was from the people.
Thank you for sharing that.
Can I ask what art was? Is it like
You're gonna quiz me
Picasso?
right now.
I'm just interested
Finger
in
paint?
I love that.
We had 3 different artists, and
From the community or?
No,
Oh.
these are famous artists that you would go to see at the Met, because the Met was trying to bring those artists. So they had a MoMA, water lilies. They had a Japanese artist. They were very high-end artists that we were bringing out to you.
What was the markup on those Band-Aids, just out of curiosity?
No, it wasn't. It really wasn't about markup. I mean, we do provide a premium product,
Yes, you
a
do.
premium
Yes, you do.
experience as well. If you haven't tried the water-resistant Band-Aids, they're amazing. My husband swears by them. But yeah, I mean, what we are trying to provide is when that experience, like I guess the emotion of bringing your best self and bringing a little bit of art with that. Felt like it was just a wonderful collaboration, honestly.
I mean, people remember that for years. Like, a lot of branding is the window you're looking at. very few people can take a 5-year, 10-year, but I actually think I'll remember that, and I didn't even get one of the
bring
Band-Aids.
you one.
Bring me one of those
I'm gonna bring
Band-Aids.
some of
And
those.
can you be responsive to move fast? I mean, what we, as we were deep in social listening, what we heard a lot, because we have a very Gen Z young fan base. And we, because we're a smaller brand, we do a lot of things in Los Angeles, we do a lot of things in New York, major cities where it just makes sense for us. But we got, come to Atlanta, come to Tampa. And every day, and my social team's super stressed. We're like, we gotta go show up in these small cities. And I knew as a smaller brand, I can't scale to every market in the United States. So what we ended up doing is we did a partnership with Breakaway Music Festival. If you know them, they're an amazing festival that they go on the principle of no ticket over $100, and I bring major acts to more secondary markets. I can bring Diplo in, I can keep it really priced, really affordable, and it really focuses on college towns. This year, I will now get in front of 500,000 young people where we will sample our product all over the United States. We have this cool mobile experience that we built, but it's answering that call of we want you to show up, you care about us, show up to where we are, and then figuring out the ways, even as a small kind of challenger brand, how can we hack that in something really smart so I can get out to more people and they feel oh, this brand shows up for me, they care.
Nice. Harv, anything you want to add? Or?
I'm not in the beauty space, unfortunately. I would have loved to be because I would have better complexion, I think. But I am interested now. I'm going back to these Band-Aids. I love these Band-Aids ideas. You see a use case. Are there going to be Band-Aids next year all up and down Can for people that have the blisters?
I should have brought it here. Clearly, missed opportunity.
I
All
know.
the influencers and viral connection.
They definitely have. I've got a blister too, so I'm
Yeah.
sure that
Yeah,
works.
and they're beautiful.
All right, I am going to turn the conversation to creators, near and dear to our hearts. So when you were picking a creator, and I'm curious about the brief actually, do you think about emotion at all? I'm assuming it's not written in there, but kind of how do you think about the Band-Aid art
Yeah.
within the brief that's asking for your brand guidelines and gender and everything else?
Okay, so we have an active brief, so maybe I'll just do an active brief.
Yeah, pitch us.
Just because we're sharing the love of what's coming next, right? So we make Listerine. Hopefully everybody uses that. Not judging. People tell us we're third in line to toothpaste, floss, and then mouthwash. So we are all about getting out there and bringing more people into using mouthwash. And we're coming out with these sachets. They're these little tubes that you can put in your purse or your car and get that fresh breath feeling on the go. So instead of covering up with mints or gum, what's better than after that mouthwash feeling? You're it's actually clean. So that's what and so it's a pure creator brief, only to creators.
Oh, wow.
So, I think we're trying to really push ourselves to break out of the mold. We do mass marketing. I'm not going to kid anybody, right? We need mass awareness. But I think, we're definitely inspired about hitting these communities because if you think about that brief, it's on the go. And, people have these acute moments, and I don't think we can define them. I think people will do a better job and creators will do a better job of telling us in their world, what does that look like?
We've seen the same thing at Viral Nation. That's a trend here too, is the creators owning the brief, coming upstream, being a product manager, being a CEO, and being really involved because of their creativity and I think because of their social listening. They're so deep in the community.
So what advice do you have for me
Did
with
you-
that brief?
Did you get any interesting campaign ideas?
We're in the mix right now, really just starting. But, I think one of the struggles the brand team, we, not just the team, we have, is defining that brief, a tight brief, but open enough where they have creative freedom.
Yeah. I mean, our tagline is social engineering, right? I think in the olden days, not everyone was listening or ingesting all the signals. So that's how I approach it, is I try to look at as many correlations as I can between every single factor of a decision for a campaign that goes viral on social. So the brief is a good part. You're assessing the creativity, but you'd want to look at the historical, day-by-day performance and metrics to really see beyond the it's art and science. Yeah. It's the human and the machine. So, that's how we would approach it.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything to add, Harv, Crystal?
I'm just really curious about the flavor that you chose for the Listerine. Is it the burn? Is it
No, it's actually not burn. So that's been talk about social listening. That's been the number one
feedback we've gotten is that some people love that burn.
I'm
Some
the
people
old
are like,
school.
I'm all
I
about
love
the
the
burn.
burn.
They feel like it's working, right?
I do not like
Depends
the burn.
how
and
bad.
We just launched mild. So if you now look at Listerine, there's the strength score, and you can choose
Smart.
the mild, or you can still get the strong,
want the
extra
smack in
strong.
the mouth,
So really, that was straight up consumer feedback. They hear it contains alcohol, and they're a little bit worried about the burn, but now you can have mild and enjoy it. And so yes, this will be mild.
And how did you get the mild story out there? Or did you?
I think we're still working on
Okay,
that, to
okay.
be very honest. Launching new work soon, but this whole idea of washing your mouth, is really the idea, and then how it activates is a lot of different ways in that ecosystem.
Good
So,
place to launch.
great place
People
to
need
launch.
that
So
here.
hopefully everybody's excited about that.
You need Listerine stations up and down the Quasset would be a
know.
really good idea.
Coming soon. Just wait for next year.
All the
Viral
seafood we're eating.
Nation.
I feel like
We'll
I
be
need
there.
this
We'll
drink.
be there. Check us out. Okay, let's talk about risk. Are any of your brands, I would say, afraid of polarizing emotions, going too far, or any sort of risk when it comes to your creator or brand ambassadors?
Sure. I mean, there's always risk, but I think, look, to be an us and to be a community requires a them. And that's not about a othering or being anti. It's just, what does this community stand for? What do we all align about? What are we for? And it has to be juxtaposed, right? I think kind of where you're going with it is political moments in, divisive moments, and when do you know when to jump in? When do you know to shut up? Look, I think the frameworks for me go back to kind of what we talked about earlier, and it's really simple. It's like, does your brand truly have a right? You may be passionate about a thing that's happening, your team may be, but does your brand have a true right to be there, to be part of the conversation, a track record of doing so? Otherwise, I think, to me, not to be too black and white about it, but I think the risk is really, really high. So to me, it comes back to the values and what those are and where they're carved and really, really clear.
Yeah, I mean, if I may add on, I mean, I think marketing creativity is not divorced from the real world,
Correct.
from the
We're
discipline.
a commercial enterprise at the end of the day, right?
The economic state of the world matters, political state of the world matters, the cultural state, the moment in time. Like, you can only take certain risks or certain creator ambassadors if
And when
the
you're
climate-
choosing a role
Yeah.
as a marketer, choose the company that aligns with the stuff you care about and that has the values that you're going to be proud to go and advocate for and build creative around and show up in a moment. And if that doesn't align, then maybe you shouldn't be working there.
So we did have a moment back in September. There was on our brand Tylenol a bit of a crisis moment when Donald Trump talked about acetaminophen potentially or correlating to autism. And I've been at healthcare companies for the past 12 years. I've never seen a company operate faster because there was, to your point, on real values that this isn't the right thing, that science says otherwise. And the company came out with a statement. We were more public about wanting to support pregnant women to talk to their doctor to make the right choice for them, and Tylenol being an option. So I think, you can't align whimsically. It has to be deep in your value system and something you truly believe in. And then I think it's instinctual. And we've been trying to create that across our portfolio, the role in culture, our brand character, and really go back to putting that back on paper. It used to be brand building 20 years ago, right, where you create these brand hearts, these brand foundations, these brand keys, but we saw it as a lost art. And so really having that on paper so that as we guide that brand, there's consistency around that, and we're more refined in what we're jumping into.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, for us, BET has been a part of the culture since day one. It's we are very purposeful on who we align with, right? Not only from an influencer standpoint, but from the legal team we're going to work with, and the advertising agency, and it goes all the way down the line. Who we hire and who we want to promote. I think it's really important for us, if you're going to stand on a specific principle and have certain values, that you don't just pick and choose when they matter and when they don't matter, and which partner you're going to use to do it and which you're not. And so that makes it a lot easier when there are issues. Obviously, there's risks, right? Because everybody has their own opinions. Even if my values are aligned, that doesn't mean we have the same opinions. But if those hiccups happen because of your consistency over time, then you're going to get a little bit of leeway, and you have an opportunity to have conversations with the
Totally.
community.
That's twice you've segued me into my next question. So good job for that. You get the prize. So let's pretend the brand builders in the audience all are convinced you need emotion in your marketing. You need social media to build that connection with that emotion. How do you get CFO? How do you get legal? How would you get that on board within your complex organizations if it's not CPA, cost per action?
Why? Why are we doing it? Look, our job as marketers and the voice and the leaders of marketing within an organization is to be able to articulate the value and the why of marketing to our C-suite, executive leadership counterparts, CFO, CCO, all those. We need to speak their language. We need to understand what's driving them the business. We have to understand the business holistically. That is our first and primary responsibility, to remove those blockers for the team to do what they're able to do. And I think if you're able to articulate the why of community, I wouldn't walk in and say, because we want to create a sense of belonging for everyone. Your CFO is going to be like, what are you talking about? To be able to walk through the commercial purpose and why that community and together leads to retail. Here's where we've done it with our collegiate ambassador program. Here's the lift in the regional Ulta stores next door. Now we're doing it at scale. This is what's working. This is the proof points. That is your role, and being armed with the why are we doing it. Maybe that's obvious, but Meredith? Yeah.
Check. I agree.
Agreed. Cosign.
1,000%. I think it's important, and as CMOs, definitely work with the CFOs, understand what they're looking for. Work with the COO, understand operationally how to build marketing into the infrastructure. Make sure that your incentives are aligned. Like there's a big issue with turnover and tenure. Like the CMO, CEO tenure is like 18 months. So what does that do? That drives everybody to get quick wins and to we're just going to think about conversion, and we're going to drive people in, even though that conversion may not lead to long-term lifetime value. So now you're working. Emotion is a lifetime value thing. Emotion is a brand loyalty lifetime value thing. So if you start having conversations about that and measuring that rather than just measuring these quick wins, then the CFO's like, yeah, I can fuck with that.
Exactly.
It's similar to how attention kind of had almost a moment, the attention economy, like how do you measure attention? I do think there's been some chat around emotion, but probably not the requisite amount. And you could argue in the age of AI, as all of our marketing is a little more commoditized each year, that's going to be more of an unlock in the future for all that we do.
I think to your point of bringing the data is probably the number one point. I would say, looking at your brand equity scores, unpacking that on meaningful, different salience, and knowing what you need to work on. So it's not a generic discussion, it's a specific, objective, strategic discussion.
Yeah, dig deeper into the repeat purchase rather than the first purchase. Dig
Exactly.
deeper into the loyalty.
Yeah, the LTV.
Exactly.
Right.
Like dig deeper into those things, because that's where you're going to start to manifest. That's where that's going to manifest, right? This
Exactly. If I
emotional
can
piece.
show my average customer a year ago purchased $70 worth of product, and now we're up to $275, true story. That the CFO, you guys are best friends now, right? And I think it's really understanding the mechanics of the business and your particular business, and being able to go there and being honest when stuff doesn't work. That's the trap I've seen, people fall into, especially when you're early in a role. And we always seem to find ourselves early in a role. You want to deliver bad news or things that didn't work or aren't kind of trending in the way is sometimes hard. But I think you'll earn that trust really fast if you can say, hey, this is the thing we thought was going to work. This is why we thought it was. It isn't the trending the way we were, and this is what we're doing about it. And the ability to be honest in those conversations earns that partnership with the CFO. They should not be someone you're battling with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Preach.
Just one thing on that.
Yep.
I love failure. Failure stories are the best.
I agree. We need to talk more about fails at Cannes.
1,000%.
Yeah.
You learn so much more from
Agreed.
these failure case studies than I'm coming up and telling you how great we did, because sometimes I can't pinpoint why we did so great. But
Totally.
failures, you're going to dig in and try to really understand, and ultimately get to the bottom of why the fuck did this not work.
Yep.
And you're not going to, excuse my language, I'm sorry. And you're not going to repeat that. Well, ideally, you're not going to repeat that same issue.
There's a global mega CMO who told me with his team every Friday, Failure Friday, and they'd spend 20 minutes and everybody
I
on
love
the
that.
team went around and talked about what failed, what they learned, and how they're moving going forward.
Yep.
I thought
All
that was
right.
brilliant.
That's all the time we have. Thank the
Ah.
panelists. Come on.